I want to talk about something that sounds like bad business advice until you've probably watched it work for a couple of years. I try to make my friends money. That's just how I operate. And it took me a long time to understand why it works. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys about the part that most people leave out, which is it stops working the second you stop doing it because it works. Here's how I look at money now. Every single dollar that comes through my business is a chance to hand somebody an opportunity. And to be honest, that is the entire reframe. When a job comes in that's bigger than me, I don't sit there figuring out how to keep more of it. I figure out who gets to eat off of it. Because at the end of the day, the budget is the same. The only real question is whether it stops at me. Value equals transformation, not transaction. And that applies to the people around you and not just your clients. I want to be completely clear about what this actually is, because calling it generosity makes it sound a little bit softer than what it actually is. You have a ceiling at the end of the day, and that's your calendar. There are only so many days that you can shoot, only so many days you can edit. You can work your ass off and be the best in your city and still be capped by the fact that there's only one of you. You see, the people that are around you are the only thing that moves that ceiling higher. So I stopped thinking about relationships as networking, right? I started thinking about them as deposits, because every time you invest in somebody around you, every time you put something real into a friendship without doing the math on it first, that becomes a deposit, and that goes into the account of opportunity that has your name signed and sealed on it. That account works a little bit different. You don't get to decide when you get to withdraw from it. You can't just walk up to it in a slow month and demand that it pay out. It just sits there and it accrues quietly for years. And then it pays out at a time that you weren't expecting, at an amount that you've never even calculated. Which is exactly why you can't just put money in it expecting it to return back to you at a specific date. You just make the deposit, show up as the best version of yourself you've got that day, and let that sit. And if I'm gonna be real, what this looks like week to week is pretty boring. Somebody calls me about a job that I can't take. Instead of me saying that I'm booked, I give them a name, and a specific name with a reason attached. Because a referral without a reason is just honestly just a phone number in your contacts. Look, when I bring something in that's bigger than me, I bring the people who are almost ready, not only the safe hires. Because at the end of the day, somebody gave me a shot before I was ready. That is the entire reason of why I'm sitting here. Somebody asked me, how did I do something? I just tell them the entire thing. What I charged, the email I sent, and the part that I got wrong. And there's a real difference between saying you'll help somebody and actually helping them. I'll keep you in mind is a worthless saying. It costs you nothing, so it's worth nothing. And making an actual introduction costs you a little bit of a piece of your own credibility, because now you're attached to how that person shows up. That cost is the entire reason that it means something. Now, here's the part that I said I'd be honest about, okay? None of this, and I mean none of this, works if you're keeping score. The second that you start tracking what you gave out and what came back, people feel it. And it's damn near impossible to hide. Somebody being generous at you with an invoice forming behind their eyes, you could feel that in about 90 seconds. My entire BS meter rings off, and so does everybody else's. So you can't run this as a tactic if you're trying to build something or get something specific back, because you'll get impatient, and the impatience is the tell. Keeping score is just a terrible way to live. And the reason that you cannot keep score is that the math does not work the way that you'd want it to. The person that you help is usually not the person who pays you back. That's the thing that nobody warns you about. You help somebody in year 1, and it's a completely different person in year 4 who says your name in a room that you will never stand in. Listen, it comes back sideways, late, and from an angle that you were never watching from. If you're sitting there waiting on one specific person to return one specific favor, you are going to be disappointed, and you're gonna quit right before the thing starts working. But here's what does happen, reliably. When something crosses somebody's desk that they can't take, they think of a person. That thought for them takes about 2 seconds, and you're either in that or you're not. You don't just enter those 2 seconds by being the most talented. You get in by being the person who was generous with them back when there was nothing in it for you. That is the asset. That is your reputation, and it works in rooms that you'll never see. And I personally know that that works because I'm on the receiving end of it a lot. Working for the Bible app, shooting for Puma, a whole lot of work people look at now and assume that I went out and won on my own. I didn't cold email my way into any of those rooms. Somebody who was already in there said my name when I wasn't around to say it for myself. That's exactly it. That's how it happened. Somebody decided to vouch for me. So when people ask me, how did I get those clients? The honest answer is that I did not get them alone. None of it was alone. Every real door I've walked through, somebody else opened first or showed me the way to get there. And I want you to understand what's really happening when somebody does that for you, because it took me a while to understand what it really was. When somebody puts their name on the line for you, they are spending something that belongs to them. Their credibility is now attached to how you show up. And if I'm mid on that job, that costs them. If I'm late, if I'm difficult, if I have to do it, that costs them. They took a risk that they did not have to take on me. So I decided to show up different on those jobs. Somebody I respected had handed me their reputation to hold for a day, and I knew it the entire time. And if that's you right now, if someone put their name on the line to get you in a room, I need you to hear me. Show up. Be so good that the person who recommended you looks smart for doing it. That is how you pay it back, and honestly, it's the only way that you can. That's also how it keeps going, because they'll do it again for you and for somebody else, and that's how the entire thing stays alive. And honestly, this is how Framework happened, which is the clearest proof I've got that any of this is real. You see, Framework started as something that I was already doing for free for years, on calls with no invoice attached, with people who couldn't have paid me, even if they wanted to. I did it because not only did I like them, I did it because someone had done it for me first. What I didn't understand at the time is that all those free conversations were the work. That's where I found out what people actually get stuck on. That's where I learned how to explain any of it. And by the time there was a program, I had already run the thing 100 times without calling it anything. You can't shortcut that part. If I had built the program first and figured out helping second, it would have been a theory, and people could have told the difference immediately. The generosity was just the research. I don't want to say it in any type of way that sounds weird, but I'm someone of faith, and the frame I keep coming back to is Mark 10:45. For the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Like, I'm not trying to preach at any of you guys, right? But that one idea, that the serving comes first and the position comes after, has been more useful to me in business than almost anything I've ever read, heard, none of the Alex Hermosi or any type of videos that has ever done for me. And I know some of y'all are hearing this and thinking that it sounds naive, that people are just gonna take advantage of you. They will. I'll be straight with you and tell you that, because I'm not gonna sit here and act like this has been a completely clean journey. Like, it's burned me. I've handed things to people and watched them do absolutely nothing with it. I've given away stuff that I probably should have kept for myself, and I've helped people who never thought about me again after. That's just part of it. And guess what? I still operate this way because no good comes without the bad. That's just true of everything worth doing. If I close myself to a project against a handful of people who just take, I close myself off to everybody, and everybody is where all of it comes from. The takers filter themselves out pretty fast anyways. Being wrong about one person costs a whole lot less than being closed off to everyone. And ultimately, I think that the reason any of this works is pretty simple. Most people are walking around trying to protect what they already have. So when somebody shows up actually trying to put something in your hands, you remember it. It's rare enough to be memorable, which is a sad thing to say out loud, honestly, but it's true. So if you take anything from this video, let it be this. Look at the next dollar that comes through your business and ask who else could eat off of it. Look at the next thing you figure out and ask who's stuck on it right now. And the next job you can't take, hand it to somebody with a reason attached to their name. Make the deposit and don't wait around for the withdrawal. Do it long enough that you forget that you're even doing it. That's when it starts. You'll also never really fully watch it work either. You'll just notice one day that you're standing in rooms that you never asked to be in, and the most of what comes to you now traces back to somebody who said your name when you weren't even there.